Fantastic. Hello, Rom. How are you, sir? I can't hear you. Hello, can you hear me? Is that me or you? I can't hear you. Can can anyone can can anyone hear us? Or is it on my
Okay, can
side?
you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Fantastic. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I was trying to do this with this. I'm doing a different device and everything. I don't know what's up with it. I'll play around with it. Um, Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try again.
Cool.
Can you hear
Okay, just
me?
what? Yep, it's
Can-
even better now.
Okay,
Really
you
loud.
can hear me. Okay, good, 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 good. I had to. I'm doing a different device because my phone, well, it'll burn out like a half hour through. So it's an Android. So all right, yeah. So I'm ready, man, and got to get used to this. All right, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I was just giving a very high level overview of who you are. Do you mind giving a quick elevator pitch in terms of who you are, the work you do, and then we'll get into the subject matter at hand?
Well, my main thing is I'm a writer and I deal with masculine self development primarily. I have stuff for women as well. Now, some people will call me a dating coach or like I'm teaching game, and sometimes I'll let that go. But my main thing is helping a man develop into the best version of himself. And I do that primarily through telling a man how to really develop his sexual energy. See, people think sexual and sex is all about just having, the pleasure with a woman. And that's an important thing, but it's also an energy. It's also an energy to it. And if a man really learns how to develop that energy and focus that energy, he can rise to great heights. In the legendary book, Think and Grow Rich, there's a whole chapter on sex transmutation. So that energy is powerful. And, it's good that we're talking about sexual discipline today because we got so many men. I mean, yeah, they'll use all that energy to get that fine woman and everything, and that's cool. But they can still get a quality woman, but then use that energy to develop their businesses, to be on their life path. And it's a matter of just the discipline because it's interesting because I have a book out, my primary book, Nice Guys and Players, and then I got Sexual Chemistry, Meeting Attractive Women, and also A Player's Eyes. And then if you were to go to my IG profile and go to the link tree, you can check out all of my what are those things? All of my websites and everything. And it's all the same thing. It's about using that powerful energy to do something, but the key to it is discipline. Indeed, in my book, Nice Guys and Players, I talk about select and non-select men, and then I break those down into, deeper categories. Now, one type of guy I talk about is Mr. Goodbar. That's that guy that got that natural sexual energy that drives women crazy. Now, the interesting thing when I brought my book out, I had a lot of those guys buy the book, more so than the nice guys. That was the funniest thing. But the thing was, their sexual energy, yeah, they were getting women, but their lives were out of control. So they wanted, and one of the things I talk about in there is sexual discipline because I said, okay, you can get all these women. You exercise some discipline, there's no place you can't go. I mean, I have examples of men, they didn't need coaching from me on getting women. They had too many women. What they needed from me was the idea of how to discipline that energy to take it to another level, and that's what I taught them. And it's tough, but with that willpower you can rise to the highest levels.
Lovely. Do you mind defining what is sexual discipline, just for the benefit of people to understand what?
Well, it's exercising will over your sex drive. Let's be real. A lot of men, especially, okay, they'll masturbate a lot. That's a big thing. Like, you got guys out here talking about semen retention, which technically is no fap. Just real quick, because everybody always talks about semen retention. Real semen retention is having sex with a woman, but not ejaculating. So I just wanted to put that out there. But, they engaged in porn, or they spending all their time chasing women and everything. Basically, they wasting their seed, you know, masturbating, all of that stuff, or chasing women, or doing all this stuff, spending all this time. And discipline is just saying, well, first of all, in the porn, don't masturbate, and concentrate that energy with a woman. I ain't saying don't have sex with women, even though small periods of celibacy are not a bad thing, And that gets into some deeper stuff, but a time when, as a man, you just say, all right, I'm just going to deal with this quality woman, but then I'm going to deal with some other stuff. In fact, dealing with the quality woman is actually better for a man, because if he gets the right woman, he can rise to the highest levels. Because if he messes with the wrong woman, well, it's just sex. It's just sex. It's just you masturbating with a live person. But if you have sex with the right woman, one that not only arouses you physically, but arouses you mentally, boom, there's nothing that you cannot accomplish. So, you know, but the thing is, you got to exercise will over it. It's like, think of that sexual energy as a horse, and discipline as riding and controlling that horse. That's the best way to look at it.
Mm. And what do you make of men who, because I saw one of your YouTube videos and you was talking about the difference, or you was explaining some men who say they've got sexual discipline, but they haven't got the opportunity to sleep with a woman, so that's not really sexual discipline?
Not at all. Unfortunately, you have a lot of men who are really sexually repressed. They think it's sexual discipline. They think it's sexual, but they sexually repressed. They're not interacting with women, but they'll play it off by saying, yeah, I'm disciplined, or I got it. Okay, let me put whatever you consider the most attractive woman right in front of you and see how you act. Because in fact, you get some women like that, they'll pick up on that man's inexperience and milk him dry. You know, and I've seen men change up. I've seen plenty of men who said that, and they'll say, I don't need a woman. Even some of these guys that call themselves MGTOW and stuff, I don't need a woman. Then as soon as a pretty woman with a nice booty walks in the room, they lose their damn minds. That's not discipline at all. Discipline is when that beautiful woman can walk in the room, basically hand you the possibility of sex, and you can say no because you're disciplined enough to recognize, okay, yeah, she's attractive, but she has some other issues with her and she wouldn't be a good match. It's when a man can actually say no to a woman, not when a man is not getting a woman, period. See, that's the key, because a lot of people will use that, like Mahatma Gandhi. He was using sex transmutation. He would actually sleep with some young women, not sexually, but in the same bed with them. That's a lot of discipline not to touch them. But he was taking that energy. That's discipline. It's discipline when you have an attractive woman right there in front of you and she's making it blatant she's want to have sex with you. It's repression when you can't meet a woman, period. And guys will play it off. They not just say, well, I'm being disciplined. I say no. Because as a human being, you can still interact with a woman every day. You can be around them, but you have discipline. You're not allowing them to distract you from your mission unless they are helping in your mission, unless they are some good to you. And I have to emphasize, not just sexually, but mentally as well. That's the key. That's the key.
Well, that's deep. That's deep. And how long have you been doing this work, teaching men and coaching men about sexual discipline and self-improvement?
You know, it was funny. It started back in the 90s. Now, I ain't gonna say I was like Mr. Goody Goody guy, but the thing was, I was a writer, and it's funny how I got into doing stuff for men. Because back in the 90s, the big thing was helping women, particularly black women, find Mr. Right. That was the decade. If you wrote a book back then and it had women, particularly black women, looking for Mr. Right, you could get some run. And so that was the big deal. So I wrote a pamphlet. Well, it started when I wrote a short story. It was called The Perfect Man. And it was about a man who was presenting a perfect image to two different women. That's all I saw it as. I just saw it as a good story, you know, and it was more focused on his character and being an honest man. But the women, they were like, oh, this made us think. this really got us thinking about some stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. Then I wrote a pamphlet for women just to sell, you know, because I had some other small books I was selling as well. I just got started publishing. And so I said, okay, I was doing some vending. So I created a pamphlet, really 11 pages, 11-page pamphlet called Finding the Right Man. No, Finding a Good Man, Finding a Good Man for the ladies. And that was selling like crazy. That was taking me someplace. And I mean, I was hand making those. But then men were coming up to me and saying, Ron, we need something. And it surprised me because the men who would say it looked like guys who were players. But they were like, we need something. We need something. So what I did, I wrote a pamphlet for men called Nice Guy's Guide to Meeting Attractive Women. But then it kept just evolving into like the nice guy. And it's funny because at first it was nice guys and players becoming a man Black women want. But then I published a small run. Then I was going to publish a better run and everything. But then I had a conversation. I'll never forget, I was at a cookout with some women, primarily white and Asian women. And they were saying the exact same things the sisters were saying. So I did a hard edit of Nice Guys and Players. I took the term Black woman out and just said women. And then I was, I just made it more general. And then it sold like crazy. And then I started, as I was pushing that, I was getting stories from men all over. Young guys, older guys, they were telling me some things. The Mr. Goodbar types, the guys who didn't need the books, they would buy it from me the quickest. Because one of the things I said in it, are you one of those guys who can get every woman except the one you want? And those were the primary guys who was good. They said, yeah, I get plenty of women, and I got all this drama, but I just want one woman. So one of the things because one of the things I talked about in Nice Guys and Players was sexual discipline. I said, because the thing was to evolve beyond where they were. In the Mr. Goodbars, I say, look, you can get even better than this. You got that discipline, you become a real man. Because that's when you are disciplined, and then instead of just being caught up with women you barely know their names, you focus on finding the right woman, or women if you wanted to have more than one, but at least you were more focused and doing the things you need to do in life. Because sexual energy is power. Because even before I wrote that book, I was big on the whole sex transmutation thing. Because one of the things I do after having sex, I might have like a notebook or something right by the bed. And I could actually track my creativity depending on which woman I was dealing with. I could actually track it, like literally. Like, okay, I was dealing with this one, can't get anything done. Dealing with this one, oh, I'm writing all these books. I'm writing all this stuff. So, and that's the thing. So, and it's just kept going. And then I started meeting others who were into deeper aspects of sexuality, like Tantra and sacred sexuality, learning about stuff like sets of 9, Kunyatsa, started learning this other stuff. And I was like, wow. And I thought I knew something, but I'm still learning. There's so much stuff sexually out there that I'll be a student the rest of my life. I have no shame in saying that, because in Western culture, it's really behind sexually. It's behind sexually. It really is. We can't. I mean, anytime you got a situation where the average woman hasn't experienced an orgasm, and really, technically, many men really haven't experienced an orgasm. Many men have experienced ejaculation, but not an orgasm. So it's like, I mean, we're not experiencing what sex could be. I mean, sexual energy can heal people. I've literally seen it change bodies. It could deal with a lot of depression, mental health issues, everything, if it's used correctly. But it's, you know how it is out here. You get some guys, they want to go in, take 3 minutes, pop, pop, pop. Don't want to take time like finding a woman's clitoris, which, the sole purpose of it is to bring pleasure. I was like, dude, okay, if you don't want to go down, put your tongue there, put your finger there, put something, learn kuyatsa, learn how to stimulate it. Trust me. Trust me. And you get some guys who fight against that. I'm like, dude, You talking about giving a woman pleasure when if you do that, she'll give you stuff, you know? And I don't mean just sex, but she will be different. She'll be in a different mood. And then, like I said, just the success, just the energy, how somebody's self-esteem would be. I mean, it can be healing for a person. It can literally heal somebody. Because I know some people, they into sexual healing. Like really good sex can actually heal somebody. But, you know, that's not what we're doing, you know? Yeah, like somebody say, you got to take your time. Yeah. Yeah, see, let me just say something real quick. I like that statement because I tell guys, hold up, man. You got that beautiful woman in front of you. She got the breastises, nice hips, butt, legs. She got that beautiful face, legs. She looking at you with those pretty eyes. Why are you rushing? You gotta put her right there and just sit there and just look. Just look. Just examine her. There's nothing wrong with that. You want that. I'm trying to see part of the thing, even before I got into the deeper stuff, I wanted to last as long as possible.
Mm.
When I was younger, younger doing that other dumb stuff, I was like, oh, okay, I can't keep doing this. You know, I had a really quick, I forgot that term, recovery time. I forgot the exact term, but right now I'm tripping over it. But because
Refractory period.
yeah, that's it. Thank you. I always trip over a word, so I said, okay, I ain't gonna trip over that one. But seriously, I would be like, whoa, come on now, don't just do that. And like I said, I've seen so much. It's joyful. You really connecting with somebody. I'm like, why are you rushing? 3 minutes. I'm spending more than that on one breast. And I'm taking my time. Because when I was very young, a woman told me, she said, take your time. I learned my lesson. You know?
No, that's so true. I've actually got a couple of questions I want to get through to some of them. The first question that someone wanted me to ask you is from a woman. How could I encourage my man to learn about Rom's work? So I think there's a man, our partner's resistant to learning about. So she's asking what advice would you give to
Um, she would have to seriously sit down and communicate with them and suggest. I don't know how she would do it. I mean, the communication would have to be open and just suggest, hey, this. She could do it like, okay, maybe talk, maybe suggest that she wants something different or she wants something more. Or in fact, that's the way to do it. Just say, you know what you're doing is great, but why don't we add some stuff into it? And I heard about this dude. He was talking about some things, and she do it this way. Just say, yeah, and I was looking at some stuff myself. And we can bring something new to it. Let's bring something new to the table. Like that. And that's if he's really resistant. Other things she could do is just really have that just deep conversation. Sometimes some men can handle a woman saying to them, okay, this ain't quite satisfying. Because I've heard it. I ain't gonna lie like I was just some perfect guy. That's how I learned stuff. Because I did have a couple women say, okay, Rom, that wasn't enough. And then I was like, oh, okay. Let me try something else. No problems after that. Because I remember I had one woman, she said, she would just tell me straight up she didn't have an orgasm. Then I said, oh, okay, let me try some other stuff. Then all of a sudden we have an orgasm all the time. So, yeah, so I mean it's just a communication because one of the sad things, I mean, when they talk about couples breaking up, there are people who say money this and money that. It's usually over sex.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's
100%.
over sex and then cheating. That's why you get some women, they will tell you they love their husbands. Yeah. Is this getting a feedback?
No, no, not on my side.
Oh,
No
okay.
feedback.
I can deal with it on my side then. Um, yeah. You got some women, I've heard some women, and like I said, I wasn't always Mr. Goody Goody. Women will just say, they're a great guy, they do this, but they're not doing it for them sexually. And sometimes they'll find some guy just to take care of them sexually. That's why you get some women go on those sex tourism vacations, go to like those bachelorette parties or even divorce parties and stuff. They still love their husband, but they still have that need for sex. So one of the things in sexual discipline is a man developing his own sexual prowess. Now, like I said, masturbation should be a general no-no. I'm gonna say general no-no. If you know, you got to get it out your system once a month, maybe. And I'm saying a big maybe. But you should try to avoid it all the time because, see, here's the thing. If a man can hold that energy within him, well, first, even before that, he has to deal with any issues that might repress his sexual energy. A lot of guys are repressed for whatever reason. Sometimes it might be trauma. It could have been molestation as a young person, or even some religious practices where they say, no, 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 you can't have sex. And if there's a problem with some repression, you have to deal with it first and foremost. First and foremost, you got to deal with that repression and understand sex is a beautiful thing, but it needs to be handled responsibly. And I think that's how a lot of times that repression came in. People think everybody's irresponsible, but if you if you tell some children at an early age and explain everything, then they won't learn their sexual ability from their family. You know, they won't learn it from, not their family. I'm sorry, from some porn or something, or on the streets. You know, have the honest conversation with them, explain it, but also explain the power behind it. Because yes, there's some negative stuff. You know, yes, you can have a child from it, but you explain birth control to them. Tell them the real deal, but tell them this is the pleasure. Tell them the negative stuff, but the positive stuff as well. Tell them everything, but understand just is a power. And for a man, he must still control that power. You know, like a lot of men, if they not particularly sexually repressed, because that's the other end of the spectrum, they sexually out of control. They need to control that because they like a bull in a china shop. And then they just chasing whatever woman. And unfortunately, you get some guys, they on some scuzzy stuff. Like you get some guys, it's a big thing for some guys who are like in their 20s, even 30s, going after young girls. You know, this molestation, it's all of that. So that's another reason to exercise some discipline. See, you can have it, you can have that energy, but you got to use it with the right person. And then you can't use it, force someone into it. That's unacceptable. See, that's the thing you have to control. You have to first develop it, have the energy, but then have the will to control it. And that's the main thing.
Lovely. I've actually got quite a few questions on porn, so I'm going to try and summarize them because some of them they
Okay.
overlap. First question is, what does Rom think about porn? And another question was, how can I overcome porn addiction? And then there's this, yeah.
Okay. Porn, leave it alone. First of all, porn isn't even correct sex. If you're a person who's had enough sex, you look at a porn, like you could look at it objectively. It's like, what the heck they doing? Seriously, like it's some bull. And plus, as a man, you shouldn't want to watch another man get there. See, that's ironic. I never really got into porn. Yes, I've seen some porn. And actually, I actually had a porn that was my favorite. It's called The Devil and Mrs. Jones. It was actually a good story. The sex actually got in the way. I was like, man, this is a good story. But other than that, for that story, I've seen some, of course, but I couldn't get into it for the simple fact I couldn't watch another man get his. Like I've been to strip clubs and I'd be sitting there just drinking my beer and stuff. Only time I would tip them is if they did some wild move on a pole, and that's more for the athletic thing. Because they will wonder why. I was like, well, I can't touch y'all. What's the point? You know, I see. First of all, that's fantasy. That's fantasy. People, as a man, don't get into it. Because if you get too much into porn, then you don't develop yourself. Because some guys be masturbating to porn. Is that what you want to do, or you want the actual woman? It'd be better off if you go work out or something, or you go work on a project. You go out and just actually engage some women. Then you can have the real thing. If you like and she's good with it, you can make your own porn. But whatever the case, you don't want to watch it. Like anybody who's hooked on porn, I would say this. Start today. If you're a person who watches it every day, okay, go every other day without watching it. then every 3 days without watching, every 4 days, and gradually you'll wean yourself off. And you have to, seriously, it's no good. Watching porn is no good. There's nothing positive about it. It's not going to teach you sex. You know, it's not going to really teach you a woman's true nature in porn, because everything is like scripted and everything. And some people think, oh, that's how they behave and stuff. Not really in the real world. I mean, you know, even how they have sex, the way they have sex in the porns, it's not really intimate. It's just straight boning. It's not intimate. They ain't really like caressing each other and kissing. And how often do you see them practicing kunyata on a porn? You know, it's not teaching them how to really bring pleasure. It's really more for the man's pleasure. And even female porn, feminist porn, where it's the women having some control or something over the men, it's still just bringing the women pleasure. Sex should be a mutual thing. When you have sex with someone, it needs to be mutual. When I have sex, I get upset if the woman doesn't have some type of orgasm or at least minimal amount of pleasure. I get upset because I feel bad, because it's supposed to be a mutual thing. And of course, you know, the women got some stuff they need to work on. So, but my thing is, okay, I'm going to do my best. And then I'm going to get her comfortable and let her know she can do her best. You know? So, you know, you want to, but in general, wean yourself off of porn. It's no good for you.
Oh, lovely. Again, just for the benefit of people joining, I'm speaking to Rom Wills, who's a US-based best-selling author, international relationship coach, and we're speaking about sexual discipline and some of Rom's amazing work, how he's helping men develop sexual discipline. And we're speaking about sexual energy and some of the other. Actually, I wanted to ask you, what if you was going to recommend one of your books as a starting point? I know you've written many. Which one would you recommend for someone who kind of wants to get into understanding about sexual energy and sexual discipline? Which first book would you recommend?
Okay, just overall, that overall thing called Game and Meeting Women, that's more nice guys and players. If you really want to get deeper into sex, then that's my second book, Sexual Chemistry, which ironically doesn't sell as well as the first. But I get into it as far as developing sexual chemistry, you know, developing your body, because I'm known for talking about body game, but part of that is so you actually have the endurance and the health for sex. See, there's something that's not talked about a lot called genital reflexology. See, when you have sex with a woman, there's a point on a man's penis that corresponds to a point in a woman's vagina. When those 2 points meet, you should feel pleasure in different organs of your body. Depends on what meet. Like when the point on your penis that corresponds to your kidney meets her point that corresponds, then y'all will feel pleasure in both of them. Or the point that corresponds with the lungs, the spleen, the heart, all of that. The only thing is, for that to happen, you have to be healthy. One of the things I talk about in sexual chemistry is a man cleaning himself out and developing himself from the inside out. Yes, I talk about lifting and all of that, but if we're going to go deeper, you need to clean your system out. You need to be as healthy as possible to really feel sex. And then to really feel genital reflexology, you really do. It actually needs to be unprotected sex, but in this environment can't really do that, so you ain't getting the same energy. But in that case, that's when you go to another level of first just dealing with one woman who's a quality woman. And, you know, in this society, you had to get tested and everything, but also develop true semen retention, which means being able to have sex with a woman without ejaculating. You don't want, and that's practice. That's not easy. That's practice. That's like the tantra master can do that. But that takes practice, but it is possible. But in order to get to that level, first of all, you have to be healthy. She has to be healthy. And, you know, of course, you know, it's tough in this society where everybody, quite frankly, needs to be tested. But that's the ultimate level. But then when you reach that level, like I said, it can actually heal you. Like, okay, if you're a married couple, that's actually better. And like married sex, unfortunately, isn't as good. But if you married, you both healthy, shoot, boom. you could have the baby whenever you want, because you can control your semen to the point where, okay, we decide to have a baby, boom, we have sex, boom. And then there's some other stuff with that. If you know the right time, like deeper aspects, if you know the right time of the month to have the baby or to impregnate her, boom, there shouldn't be any problem. But you both have to be healthy first. So I would say sexual chemistry, because they even have a chapter on Mr. Goodbar and other aspects. I have a chapter, as you go through it, there's actually some chapters on developing that willpower. You know, developing that willpower, dealing with sexual repression or sexual out of control.
And which you mentioned about body game. Do you mind explaining what is body game? And I'd like to hear more about that if you don't mind.
Okay, when I talk body game, now when I usually talk it publicly, it usually, you know, I talk about a guy hitting the gym, getting his body right. But basically, on another level, that turns on a woman sexually. Women are turned on a primal level by a man's body based on what's in her DNA. There's always going to be a type of man that turns her on a deeper level. It's going to be magnetic. And it's different for, just to be clear, it's different for every woman. Like you get some women, they more turned on by a man's chest and arms. Other women might actually be turned on by his abs or flatter stomach. And indeed, a woman could be turned on by aspects of a man's face, like his eyes, his lips, even his hair. But it's different for every woman. That's why I talk about tribes. So I say first develop your body to its best extent. Don't get plastic surgery. I tell guys, don't get plastic surgery. Whatever you got, if you develop it to your best, there's some women who are going to have a magnetic attraction for it. They might even go into a little bit of a trance. They might, that's how powerful it is. So when you develop that hits women on a different level. And then as a man, you just have to recognize that, and you don't have to do anything crazy or some crazy line. You just have to have a conversation with her, because she's feeling you on a different level. That's why women go crazy over male exotic dancers. That's why they will pay for a muscular gigolo or something. It's that body. But in order for it to work, you need to be in your best form, not somebody else's. Like, don't take steroids or anything like that. Just develop your best form, and the right women will have an attraction precisely for what you're presenting.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Love that. Another question. How do I know if my wife has come?
Well, okay, see, here's the thing with that. Here's an important thing. Because there's 14 types of orgasms, which you talk about in your book, Kunyata. I would recommend everybody to buy that. Now, on a basic level, you really have to get in tune with the woman. Really in tune with everything. I would say in general, she's had an orgasm somewhere if she's relaxed, if she gets real quiet, real peaceful. Generally, I'm saying very generally, because a woman can have a breast orgasm, you might not pay attention. See, one thing about orgasm, you get these women and they'll fake it. Be like, oh, ooh, ah, they fake it. An orgasm, technically, it's just a spasm that lasts like 0.8 of a second. So it depends on where it is. But in order to understand that, you gotta be present with the woman and just pay attention. Pay attention. Don't be all into your world and say, oh, I'm gonna get mine. Have your eyes open and just pay attention. How are her eyes doing? Are her lips opening slightly? The rare vaginal orgasms, is she clenching involuntarily? That's the best one. You'll know it. Yeah, if she have an orgasm there, you will know it. You will know it. I dealt with one woman, she had a clitoral orgasm. It's like, wait a minute, it's popping. It's like, man, that's the best way, because, see, unfortunately, you have to pay attention to her behavior. See, what should be happening when she has an orgasm, she's getting more relaxed, because many women are walking around with full attention. So if she seems like real relaxed, real calm, or you can actually feel the spasm somewhere is crazy, boom. Because just like you had pointed out before, women have different sized vaginas, everything like that. So it's going to be different with a woman. So you have to really get to know her. You have to pay attention. What does it feel like? What's she doing? Like one woman, I had dealt with a woman and she was closer to my age and she had never had an orgasm. She had been married and everything. And I was just like, oh, how did that feel? She said, how'd you know? I could just tell like how she was looking and everything, you know? And it takes why it takes a practice. Like pay attention, stay in the moment. Don't go in thinking bust, bust, bust. Please don't. Because you'll do that. And then the woman sitting there, you think you're doing something. She counting the ceiling fan or something, or she doing her grocery list. Pay attention. Look in her eyes. Look at her mouth. If you having sex with her and her mouth opens slightly, that's a very good indication. And even then, they still might not have a full one. See, in order to even get them to that point, and I talk about this in sexual chemistry, you got to get them very relaxed first. Get them very relaxed, get them comfortable. When you make love to them, like if you're at your home, make sure everything smells good. Have some nice music, get them comfortable. Because a lot of women, because of the society, they full of tension. You got to take that tension away from her and get her relaxed. Then when she's relaxed, and then you take your time with her, boom. Now, I would suggest the breast first. Yeah, pay attention to her heart rate. Seriously, pay attention to everything. But start with her breast. Start with her breast, because a woman, she can actually have an orgasm, and all you did was suck her breast. You haven't even penetrated. That's why a lot of women like breastfeeding, because it's giving them something down there. They love that baby. That baby's bringing them on an orgasm, or at least a bowel one. And like I said, it can be tough because some women are so repressed. You could be a sex god to all other women, but had trouble with her. And I've known some tantra masters. They'll say, you know what, they always run into that one woman, no matter what they did. But you have to like just pay attention and see each woman. Like I say, each woman's going to have it differently. Each woman's going to have it differently. So you want to just look. Any spasms? Is she getting peaceful? Is she seem like she's out of control? Does she seem like real peaceful? Like, does she go to sleep? Like, if you had sex with her, if she jumps up right away, she didn't have an orgasm. I'll just say that much. She definitely didn't. If she jumps up right away, now if she just want to sit there and relax, chill, even sleep, oh yeah, you did something. You did something, even if it was just bring her a lot of pleasure. But indeed, I'm gonna tell you something now with women. A lot of women actually have orgasms and don't know it. They're just mild orgasms. They don't know they have an orgasm. So it's tough. It's tough, but you just gotta pay attention. It's like I said, it's hard to just say, okay, if they doing this, they having it. Because what I gave was just some possible indications. Because even then, you get some slick women who trying to use a man. They know, okay, let me clench up. Oh, let me scream, and some guy might not know. Like, pay attention to her. How relaxed does she seem? Because ultimately, when she have an orgasm, she should be at a place of peace. Indeed, I've talked about the 9 levels of orgasm. At the highest level, is considered a little death. So if she get to that level, she's just knocked out. Okay, you did some work. But like I said, if she jumps up right away, you didn't do any work. Like some dudes joke and say, yeah, I'm going to have sex with her and then make her go make a ham sandwich. If she can make you one right away, no, you didn't do it. At best, she might have had some pleasure. And like I said, you got to practice it, but look for involuntary orgasm. Like I said, look for it. And what the heck?
So I think that's my phone. Let me just.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know how to turn it off, but I don't want to turn off this live because I want to make sure I save it. Yeah. Okay. Stop. Sorry.
Hey, don't worry about it, man. I'm on an iPad. Then they don't have any phones coming in or anybody calling. But yeah, I mean, I would say look for her relaxation mainly. Look for any involuntary spasms. Pay attention to anything like she moving, her toes curling, everything. Pay attention to it. Like my favorite one is still vaginal orgasm. You'll know for sure because you'll be like, oh God. In fact, the way it should be, she should have a vaginal orgasm and then make you at least ejaculate. Matter orgasm. See, one thing with men, there's a difference between ejaculation and an orgasm. Like a man can have multiple orgasms and never ejaculate. You can ejaculate but don't have an orgasm. And an orgasm for a man is generally like the contraction of his prostate. Generally.
Mm.
You know, or just that good feel. I mean, at least get that good feeling. But that's the thing. We think it's just ejaculation, but that's like even squirting, like a woman squirting ain't necessarily, it don't have to be. It can be an orgasm, but not necessarily. Sometimes women will squirt, but it wasn't an orgasm. But it's still something though. And like I said, one thing as a man, you just want to do your part to make her as comfortable as possible, because sometimes a woman, she might not have an orgasm because she's sexually repressed. She's not comfortable. You know, she's not comfortable with it. There's a lot of women, they're not open. They need body gain. They need to deal with their health issues. They need to deal with their attitudes. So it's tough. It's tough, but I would say this: practice, but the main thing, pay attention, bring your best, take your time. Take your time. Start with her breast. Trust me. Always start with her breast. At least, you know, some of y'all guys say, I ain't going down. Okay. Finger, rub lightly. Learn kunyata, you know, do some stuff, y'all. Do some stuff. Do your part at least. Do your part at least. But, you like, basically get her comfortable.
Just in regards to your books, where is the best place you recommend people to buy it? From your website or from Amazon?
Mostly Amazon, especially if you're overseas. Now, I do have, at some point, like with my book, Sexual Chemistry and Nice Guys and Players, I got to set it up so they're being sold on Amazon again. The hard copies used to be sold, but right now just sold in the United States, and they coming directly from me. And in order to have them sold on Amazon now, I actually have to write them out again, or, you know, upload it, all that stuff. But right now, if you're in the United States, you know, I can write it, do something for you. If you overseas or something, contact me directly and we can work something out. It'd just be a little bit extra money to ship you those copies. But if you're on Kindle, you can get it right away no matter where you at. No matter where you at, you can get it right away.
Lovely. I'll after when I save this live, I'll put and I'll repost some of the stories, and I'll put a link to both your
Okay.
website and Amazon link. And just before we go, because I'm conscious of the time and I want to make sure I save this live, do you have any upcoming webinars or seminars for men, or what would you recommend if people want to reach out and find out more about your work?
Check me out on Patreon or something, because usually when I'm doing webinars or something, it's for a more private crew. But but definitely check me out. Check out my Patreon. I have a lot of videos on Vimeo, on demand videos. Also have something called Rom TV, where I do different series, and I'm slowly building now. I'm gonna build it to the point I'm gonna bring other people in and have them do series as well. And it's more of a teaching place. It's more, really gets deep, because when I do my public videos, you know, I might talk about something for 15 minutes and then talk about something different the next day. Or Rom TV, I will have a whole series devoted to a particular subject. Like I have a series devoted to building your sexual charisma, you know, be drawing someone to you in a sexual manner. Because one of the things I always say is sex and a person's physical appearance are two different things. Because we've all seen those people, like felt men, we've all seen those women who might not look like Miss America or Miss Universe or wherever you're from, a beauty contestant, but they driving us crazy because of how sexy they are. You know, and that's something. See, that's the thing. If people got off of like their physical appearance, yes, I talk body game, but like I said, that's to help build you up. Get off of like thinking they gotta look like some fashion model or something, and just get comfortable with their sexual energy. They'll always draw a mate.
Mm.
And especially for men, they have to realize women are always looking at a man sexually, even if they don't say it, and even if it doesn't have anything to do with actually having sex. You could be just going for a job interview and they still looking at you sexually. Now, they might not engage with you at all, You know, they love their mate and all that, but they'll probably tell their girlfriends, they're like, girl, he could get it. But that's just the nature of women. They really want to have sex more than we do.
Mm.
That's the thing. And see, as men, we have to understand that. Too many men think, oh, women don't want to have sex. No, yeah, they do. And they want good sex. They want it. And it's no shame in that. It's nothing wrong. Like, as men, we got to stop judging them for that. You know? If we get them comfortable, if we get women comfortable, we would. There's so much because, I mean, I know you've seen some women when they were just really comfortable with themselves. It's so beautiful. And they can be so giving on so many levels when they are comfortable sexually. Because, yeah, even when you give them an orgasm or multiple orgasms in bed, oh, they'll get up and make you a ham sandwich if you want it, you know, or beef or whatever. It should be an hour later, a couple of hours, and let them get some rest, but they'll do it for you, you know? But it's just understanding that. See, one thing, men have to get, as a group, have to get comfortable with a woman's sexual nature. Just get comfortable. They do what they do. There's no shame in it. They bring life through their wounds. You know, it can heal them and everything. And then a woman who's comfortable with her sexual nature, she can help a man build his empire. She'll keep him open. She'll keep him open, and he don't have to worry about it. In fact, if she's really good at it, and I actually had a woman tell me this. She said she would make love to a man in such a way he wouldn't even think about another woman. I can attest to you that she, oh my goodness, yeah, she knew how to kiss. You get some women like that, they know how to touch you, you know.
Now I'm just I'm blown away by the advice that you're giving, but at the same time, I want to make sure I save this, and I want to intentionally leave some. I don't want to ask you too much because I want people to sign up to your Patreon, check out your Vimeo and your YouTube channel and your Instagram page. So please follow Rom. Brilliant author, writer, gives great advice, practical advice for men as well. And again, if you go into the shall we say the private room as men, it's more detailed and more obviously we're holding back a little bit because obviously it's a public platform, but again, I definitely would recommend Rom's work. The advice is given is very practical, and again, like I said, I definitely think men should check him out, and women should definitely tell their now love interests or potential love interests or partners to definitely check Rom. So Rom, I want to thank you once again for
Okay.
spending time to drop some of your gems with us. I'll save this now and I'll put your relevant details in. Again, we'll definitely will speak again soon. But thank you again for giving me
Okay.
time.
Well, let me say something because I have somebody saying, okay, this young lady on here. I say for the ladies, y'all can still hit me up because I'm trying to build like some ladies I'm building with as well. So that's a little bit tougher. That's a little bit tougher because I have a woman's channel, but then I get so many men who post on there. I'm like, okay, y'all, this is a ladies channel. So, but yeah, hit me up privately. Hit me anybody can hit me up on IG. Just hit me up, follow me, and hit me up, or just hit me up. Period. So I'll be here.
Lovely, lovely. Again, thank you again, Rom. I'm going to save this. I think we're near the hour mark, but yeah, we'll connect soon.
Okay, definitely. And it's an honor that you had me on here with you because, you know,
The honor's mine. I respect
your book is powerful. I've recommended it to so many people. I mean, you talk about the 14 types of orgasm. You talking about some real practical things to really bring pleasure to a woman. Yeah, seriously, it should be required reading in schools, and I sincerely mean that. Because, like I said, a lot of women out here are not being satisfied sexually, and it actually causes other problems. You have a different society. If they satisfy, trust me, it'd be a whole different society on so many levels. So thank you for having me on here. I'm honored to be on here with you.
Respect is mutual, sir. Respect is mutual. Thank you again. Thank you again. Speak to you
All
soon.
right. All right. See you later, man. You have a great day.
Same to you. Bye.
All right. Peace.